Welcome to Get Moving TV. I'm Dr. Chris Land and I serve as your host. We're into the holiday season now. We've survived Thanksgiving, we've survived Halloween and the candy, we've survived, well, hopefully we'll survive Christmas as well. There's going to be lots of food around, but a big problem is inactivity. When I'm in the office and I see the kids, they're playing the video games, they're not getting the opportunity to exercise at school. Maybe we have a little bit of weather and people are afraid to walk again. Today with me I have Selfa Saucedo, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what we can do to get moving here in Ventura County. Selfa, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Dr. Landon, for having me.
So tell me a little bit about physical activity. It seems like so simple, but we've really seen it completely disappear from schools. PE teachers aren't doing their things. We have elementary school that had to hire their own physical teacher, education teacher out of their own funds, and it's gotten crazy. So,
well, it's gotten very crazy, you're right. And physical education, as you said, has pretty much been eliminated from our landscape. And it's unfortunate because as a result of that, we now have an alarming rate of obesity in the United States and certainly in Ventura County. Recent reports state that obesity in children is on a high, and here in Ventura County we're very concerned, and we are doing as much education, and we are offering programs, and we are working with our community partners to try to see what we can do about getting physical activity back into the horizon, back into our everyday activities.
As a pediatrician, I was looking at our child health and disability prevention records and looked at some 39,000 of them, and really about 1 out of 4 kids is overweight or really a part where it's going to be a problem in the future. We're going to have problems with diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attacks early, and then we know with the influenza that being overweight is not good. People really have a harder time surviving influenza. So how is public health going to bring about this change? It's not all just sodas and hot Cheetos, although that's certainly at the root. We're chewing away at it all the time in our office.
Well, one of the things you mentioned, obesity has to do with a couple of things. One of them obviously is eating, what we're putting into the tank, right? And physical activity is what we're putting out in terms of activity and exercise. So today what I'd like to talk about is more the exercise part of it, just because it's a critical part of trying to stay healthy. And it's not just about what you eat, it's about your physical activity as well. Public health has a variety of programs in our health education unit specifically. We have chronic disease prevention programs, nutrition education programs. We have a grant from the Network for a Healthy California, so we have programs which work with the schools to try to get the schools, the teachers, provide them with curriculum so that they can work with the children, work with the kids to get more involved, do more physical activity. We have programs where we're working with retailers to try to encourage them to sell healthier products, healthier produce, local produce. We work with retailers to encourage them to sell the low-fat, the non-fat, the soy. We try to encourage them and motivate them and give them necessary information so that they can go healthier. In addition to that, we offer a variety of programs in the community. We're working with, one of the things about health education and in public health specifically, we work with trying to empower the community, because it's not enough to just give people a booklet to read or to tell people here's a recipe you can follow. It's not enough, and we have to be culturally sensitive. We have to be familiar with the local beliefs and diets. And so one of the things that we want to do is work directly with the community. So we have programs such as our walking clubs, where we partner with local groups, maybe parent groups, maybe a local parent-teacher association, or just parent groups at the local schools, elementary schools, and we work with them, first of all, to educate them about nutrition, to educate them about proper and healthy preparation of food, but then we also work with them to try to get moving. So we have activities like the walking clubs, and we have aerobics clubs, and staff go in on a regular basis, they talk, they get to know the community, and pretty soon you have local leaders rising up from this that are motivated and they want to keep going. So We start walking clubs, or pretty soon they're walking around the neighborhood. Pretty soon they're up to, we have one walking club in Oxnard who's up to 2 hours of exercise just in a group setting together a day. And this is something that they didn't do before because they didn't think that they had the time for it. But once they understand it's something that you could fit in, you could do it with your neighbors, you could do it with your children, you could do it with your husband if you're lucky enough to get him off, to get him to go with you. But physical activity, we encourage gardening. We work with local communities to also do gardening because that's an excellent form of exercise. You're growing your own local produce. As long as it's not raining, and in Ventura we're lucky that we don't get that much rain, but we encourage them to do their gardening, and that they can do with their children, and they can grow healthy foods that they can use in their own preparation of meals. So those are some of the activities. We also have aerobics classes that we start with local community groups, and we teach them aerobic activity. We meet with them regularly, and pretty soon they're off on their own doing physical aerobic activity.
Well, I know in the office we'll hand out pedometers, and people lose them after a little while, and 10,000 steps a day sounds like a lot. And basically what I tell them is, well, do you have an hour and 10 minutes a day to walk? No way do I have that much. What's 15 minutes away? Well, walk there and walk back, do that twice a day, and suddenly we're at an hour of walking. That's good for about 10 pounds a year, that getting in that little bit of exercise. What are some of the exercises that you recommend? Then we'll talk about maybe safety in Ventura County.
Well, some of the exercise obviously are the activities that don't require that you purchase any expensive equipment, because that's always a barrier to some people. You know, I can't buy that, you know, the treadmill, I can't buy that spinning cycle, I don't have money for barbells or anything of that nature. So obviously the things that you can do that aren't going to cost you anything. So walking is obviously a good thing. Initially you can start off with 30 minutes a day of walking, just brisk walking, like you said, walking to and from for 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back, that's half an hour. And what you said is exactly what we recommend, is that you break up that physical activity into bite-sized chunks that you can swallow, because sometimes an hour and a half seems like a long time. But if you break it up in 10, 15-minute segments, it's not as bad, and you're slowly building up to more, and you start to enjoy it.